Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the #1 Vikings fan extraordinaire, Adam Boyer. Today, we have got a great video for you, or I have a great video for you. We are doing my third NFL 2022 first round mock draft. Possibly my final one before April. I might do one more, but it will it's very doubtful that I will do any more than one more draft, and maybe not even that. So, without further ado, let's get into the video, but real quick before we start, please let me remind you to subscribe if you do enjoy, and like the video also if you agree with me, even if you don't, if you still enjoy it, if you would like, it would mean the world to me, and I really appreciate it. And if you really want to help me out, share this to a person you know you think might enjoy it, or to your social media. That would be awesome. Draw more viewers and potential subscribers to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Well, the NFL Player Selection Meeting, as it is also called, otherwise known as the NFL Draft, is coming up April 28th to April 30th. So, obviously, we're going to go ahead and do another mock draft. I don't know, if I'm going to do many more of these. Like I said, the web's kind of flooded with NFL mock drafts right now, so I figure I might as well throw in my 2 cents. Anyway, here we go. #1 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Aiden Hutchinson, edge rusher, Michigan. I really wanted to keep mocking them to get Trayvon Walker, because if they surprise people and do get him, I will look so smart. And I did do really good predicting games this year, but that is neither here nor there. So, I mean, it really is a toss-up here between Hutchinson and Walker for me. I did finally decide on Hutchinson because I do think he's like the best player in this draft. And I do see a lot more mocks that have the Jags taking Hutchinson, but it could very well be Walker. #2, the Detroit Lions select Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. The Lions, they need help in the secondary, need help pretty much everywhere on their team. Hamilton will be a great defensive cornerstone to build around. #3, the Houston Texans select Evan Neal, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Evan Neal, I think, is an awesome prospect. I believe, if I remember correctly, he's 6'7", 320 pounds. He can push over and just shove, I think, pretty much any defender in the league out of the way. And that doesn't matter if it's defensive tackle, cornerback, linebacker, edge rusher, whatever. I think he can move them out of the way. So, the Texans needing some help on the offensive line. I love the pick here. Pair him up with Laramie Tunsil. Mwah. Those two, there's not going to be any edge rushers getting around the edge and harassing Davis Mills, or at least not many of them. #4, the Jets go wide receiver from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson. They're providing some more weapons for Zach Wilson, which he desperately needs. They select wide receiver. I do think the Jets are probably going to go one offense, one defense in this draft, or in the first round. One offensive player, one defensive player. #5, trade alert. Trade alert. Send the graphic onto the screen, Adam, and post editing and such. Is it going? I think it's going. Okay, it should stop. Stop it now. The trade, the Giants and Texans trade. The Texans trading up from the #13 spot with the Giants, getting the Giants' 5th overall pick. Giants get the Texans' 13th and maybe like a 3rd round pick in this year's draft and a 2nd round pick in next year's draft. I think it will cost a bit. The Giants are at #7, so it might not cost that much. But the Texans trade up to select the boomer bust prospect Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher out of Oregon. The Oregon Duck, man, yeah, he could be become one of the best edge rushers ever and get like 15 sacks each year. He could also be getting 3 sacks a year. I do think it's a risk, but I think it's one the Texans are willing to take. #6, the Carolina Panthers select our first quarterback off the board, and they go Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pitt. I'm seeing more and more mock drafts that have them taking Pickett, and I do think that is a very likely pick for them. #7, the New York Giants select Ike Ekwonu, offensive tackle out of North Carolina State. Yeah, what did I say about Ekwonu? I think he could also go 3 to the Texans. He could go 7 to the Giants. Yeah, either it'll be Neal here or Ekwonu. It just depends on what the Texans go. I think either of those guys are capable of going before the other, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does, or I'm going to sound really stupid. Moving on, #8, the Atlanta Falcons select wide receiver Drake London out of USC, providing Marcus Mariota with some much-needed help. I do think they could go quarterback here, but I think they're actually going to wait to the 2nd round. They draft early on in the 2nd round, I believe, and if not, they can trade up in the 2nd round and snag a quarterback then. Number 9, the Seattle Seahawks select Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty. He is my last quarterback, I'll go ahead and say, being taken in the first round. I do think there will be several quarterbacks taken in the second round, but Willis, kind of a Russell Wilson 2.0, or at least that is the hope, and I'm going to be so happy to see him if he's taken in the top 10, because as I've said before, I do live like 20 minutes from Liberty's campus. Number 10, the Minnesota Vikings. Another trade alert. Get the graphic on the screen again. The Vikings trading with the Jets just to go up 2 spots to number 10. The Jets, I think, will get the Vikings 12 overall pick, and then maybe like a 4th round pick in this draft, maybe like a 5th round pick in next year's draft. It won't cost the Vikings too much to trade up just 2 spots, but they trade up to grab the best cornerback in the draft at number 10, cornerback out of Cincinnati, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Number 11, the Washington Commanders select Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. Williams, I think, would be the first wide receiver taken in this draft if it were not for the ACL injury. However, ACL injuries in the past couple years are starting to prove not as, deadly to a career, so to speak, as they used to be. And so I think the Commanders are going to be willing to take a chance on him. It was really down to, I think it was him and Chris Olave for me. Olave is kind of the best route runner I saw. At least that's an opinion I heard. And Jameson Williams is the deep threat. And I think because Terry McLaurin can stretch the field, but because he's already such a great route runner, they get a compliment to him and Jameson Williams. Number 12, the Jets, via Vikings obviously, select Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback out of LSU. Another sort of boomer bust prospect, but the Jets will be willing to take a chance on it and address that secondary. Number 13, the Giants select Trayvon Walker, defensive lineman out of Georgia. He can rush the quarterback, he can stop the run, he can play on the edge, he can play in the middle. Trayvon Walker can do it all, and that's why I think possibly he can go number 1 overall. However, there's just not a ton of teams with the same needs like that Walker provides, so that's why I think he'll either go number 1 or slip a little bit down the draft board. Not because necessarily the talent is not there. Number 14, the Baltimore Ravens select Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Got to provide some help in the receiving game for Lamar Jackson, and they get that here with Treylon Burks. And I believe our last trade of the first round. Get the graphic up one more time. The Packers trading with the Eagles from the number 22 spot to the 15 spot to make sure they get a good wide receiver out of Ohio State, Chris Olave. With Devonta Adams gone, it is imperative that they get Aaron Rodgers some receiving help. And while there are still some talks that they're not going to take a wide receiver in the first round, I think they will, and they have the draft capital and ability and players and whatnot to be able to move up, make some fireworks in the first round. So they trade here. Number 16, the New Orleans Saints select another wide receiver, Jahan Dotson. That's our 3rd wide receiver in a row. Wide receiver from Penn State. The Saints desperately need some wide receiver help for Jameis Winston, and they select him here. They get that. Whatever. Number 17, the Los Angeles Chargers select cornerback out of, I can't read my writing. Cornerback out of Clemson. Cornerback out of Clemson, Andrew Booth Jr. Number 18, the Eagles select Devonta Wyatt, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Spoiler alert, we have another defensive tackle coming up. The Saints again selecting another defensive tackle out of Georgia, Jordan Davis. Yeah, they're both, I think Wyatt and Davis could switch here. I really think it's just a matter of opinion almost by whatever guy the team thinks is better and whatever scouting they've done. I do think Devonta Wyatt is probably the slightly better, at least statistically. Maybe not physically quite as much, though. Number 20, the Steelers select offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, Charles Cross. I was looking at their lineup, and the Steelers' offensive line is not as great as it's been in the past. I think it's on the left side they need help most. And I think that's where Charles Cross can move over to left tackle, if I'm remembering correctly. But he could play right tackle too, maybe even transition to guard. Who knows? Number 21, the New England Patriots select Trevor Penning, offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. And yeah, so I do think here he can play guard or tackle. The Patriots kind of need help at left guard and left tackle. I believe that's right. They need help at left guard and left tackle, and he could fill whatever hole he can play better. Whatever the Patriots think he can, Belichick, I'm sure, will find the right spot for him. Number 22, the Philadelphia Eagles select offensive guard out of Boston College, Zion Johnson. Number 23, the Arizona Cardinals go edge rusher out of Purdue, George Karlaftis. Number 24, the Cowboys go defensive tackle. I had them taking a linebacker in my first 2 mock drafts. I've switched that now, and I have them taking DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, to help shore up that middle of the defensive line where they really don't have too much talent right now. Number 25, first time I've mocked this, and the only one taken in the first round, the Bills select Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State. I looked, it was a hard choice between Walker and Breece Hall, but Breece Hall has been a bit more consistent throughout his college career than Walker, and he's put up more receiving yards last year, and I don't think he had quite as good a yards per carry average, but it was still, I think, 5.8 yards per carry, and so the Bills go Breece Hall here. Number 26, the Tennessee Titans, again dressed offensive line, Kenyon Green, who I think he plays offensive guard out of Texas A&M. But the Titans get him for his versatility, possibly playing offensive guard, possibly playing tackle, because they need both of those positions. Number 27, the Buccaneers go offensive tackle out of Central Michigan, Bernard Raymond. Bucs need help on that offensive line. They want to keep the old man Tom Brady protected, and they do that in this draft. Number 28, the Packers select our only other safety selected in the first round, out of Michigan, Daxton Hill. I was watching one of Tom Grossi's videos, just the other day, and he was talking about how the Packers could really use some safety depth and a guy that can kind of come up and play cornerback, and I instantly thought Daxton Hill, safety / slot cornerback type of guy. He can do that sort of thing, and that would be a great pick for them. And so I instantly thought that, and I have not changed my mind since then. So the Packers get their wide receiver help, and they get some safety help on defense. Number 29, the first of 2 picks for the Chiefs, they get David Ojabo, edge rusher out of Michigan. Help continue to make sure their defensive line can rush the quarterback. Get some youth infused there. Number 30, again the Chiefs, they go linebacker out of Utah, Devin Lloyd. I don't think, and spoiler alert, Nakobe Dean's coming up, I don't think that Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd necessarily should fall this far. That's just kind of the way it panned out with these teams and their needs. Not a ton of teams have terribly bad needs at linebacker, and so Lloyd does fall to 30 to the Chiefs, who are very happy to take him. Number 31, the Cincinnati Bengals get Nakobe Dean, as I said, linebacker out of Georgia. They only have really Logan Wilson as their pretty good linebacker on their defense. Dean would help fix that. Lastly, the Detroit Lions select wide receiver out of Georgia, George Pickens. This is perhaps a little bit of the reach of a reach by the Lions, but they got Kyle Hamilton all the way up at number 2. They need receiving help for Jared Goff. They don't really. I'm trying to think. I think they brought in DJ Chark, but that's about it. But George Pickens, kind of big and physical, paired with DJ Chark and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And if Jared Goff can take strides, I mean, he didn't look terrible last year at the Lions, and supported by a DeAndre Swift running game, their offense actually might not be terrible in 2022. I mean, yeah, I'm calling it. The Lions' offense might not suck. I mean, yeah. I guess usually their problem has been their defense, seeing as how, Matthew Stafford carried the team. Now he left the Rams and won the Super Bowl, proving the critics wrong, and I always was a believer in him. But hey, that's a different topic for a different time. Thank you so much for coming back and watching the channel, everyone. As always, please do not forget to subscribe. There should be some buttons appearing around me. Probably a playlist, 2 videos, and a subscribe button if I know me, which I do know me pretty well. So please subscribe. Maybe it's appearing right here, hopefully. Maybe a playlist here, video here, video here. Check out those other videos if you're interested. All my NFL offseason videos should be appearing hopefully right here, so I don't look stupid in editing. Click on that and you'll see all my NFL offseason videos not concerning the Washington Commanders. I have a separate playlist for that. Thank you so much for coming back and watching. As I said, please like, please subscribe. I'm the Vikings fan, and I'm out of here. See you later.